Why does every day feel the same? Ever wake up, check your phone, and go through the motions and feel like you're stuck in the way that everything is happening the same over and over every day, every week, every month, and maybe more? No matter what you try, life is gray, flat, predictable. If every day is starting to blur into one long loop of days, then weeks, then months, then you are probably stuck in a loop which you can easily get out of. And I'm going to show you how in this video. This is not a random pattern. This is something I see in a lot of my clients whom I work with. Hello everybody, I am Vaishali Nikhade. I am an engineer turned psychic with over 9,000 readings, and I show you how you can leverage the power of the stars and the power of your spirit or your own intuition in order to be able to break out of being in the same loop over and over for say hours together or days together or weeks together, hopefully not months and years together. But even if that is the case, then I will show you how you can get out of such a loop. If you are stuck, it's probably not because you are lazy or you're unmotivated. You just don't have the knowledge of a few things which you will receive in this video to be able to break through these patterns where you can start seeing progress and momentum. And once you start seeing progress and momentum, things will start moving forward in your life. Studies show that 92% of the people fail to follow through on their goals each year, not because the goal is wrong, but because the timing is off. And I'm going to give you access to a free workshop where I can show you how you can leverage the power of timing from the stars in order to accelerate or create momentum as far as your goals are concerned. So here's what you're going to learn in this video. People think linearly because thought patterns are linear. Timing from the stars is not linear, and changing strategy can lead to new breakthroughs. Your goal in this video is to be able to figure out if you are following linear patterns of thinking or you are changing and shifting things based on how the shifts or changes in energy happens. So let's get to it. The first part is people think linearly and thought patterns are linear. So let's say we are going to take an example of a girl called Anna who is looking for work, and it's a fake name. And if you've watched any of my videos, a lot of the girls are called Anna because that's the first name that comes to me and it starts with an A. All right, so there is no bias against any Anna who is watching this video. All right, so thought patterns are linear in the sense that people have a chunk of time, which means that they wake up during this period of time, they go through the day, and this is the period of time where they go to bed. And linear thought patterns that they're kind of going to go through the same motions day after day, which means that in the first slot of the day, they are probably going to get ready for work and do a few things, then they're going to work, and then they're going to come home and do certain things. And they're going to keep repeating this pattern day after day, unless there is an interrupt. And this interrupt could be anything. It could be, let's say you get into an accident. So now your patterns are kind of disrupted. Or let's say you have an appointment with a doctor. So now your patterns are kind of disrupted. But in the absence of any such things, you're kind of going to keep repeating the same patterns over and over. And you're planning things the same way and you're doing the same things day after day, so nothing is shifting. Now I mentioned that Anna is looking for work. So what she does is, this is a true story. A lot of my clients right now are looking for work because the job market is, let's say, not so nice at this time or at the time of this recording. So goes to the same sites and she applies to the same kind of positions and she sends in the same resume and she comes to me say 2-3 times a week and asks me as to why nothing is changing and what she can do to shift things. But you can see the pattern she has, which is she's kind of doing the same thing over and over. So now we come to the second part, which is the timing from the stars is not linear. So think of the stars as having this energy or power or ability to be able to direct the show, for lack of a better word, which means that wherever they shine, they're kind of going to make things a lot easier for you, a lot faster for you. And then let's say that they don't want to shine during a particular period of time. At that time, or they're not shining in a particular spot, rather, at that time things are, let's say, not going to be so rosy. So let's say that Anna is looking for work, and she goes to this job interview. And in this particular job interview, the job interviewer, this is the starting point and this is the ending point, and the job interviewer has interviews lined up all throughout the day. Now, as far as Anna is concerned, let's say that her stars are kind of favorable for her during this period of time. Whatever is this block that I'm drawing, that is the period of time for which stars are favorable for Anna. So if the stars are favorable for her during this period of time, then what's going to happen is if her interview happens during this chunk of time, then she's probably going to get the job, or the interview is going to be easier for her, or the interviewer is going to like her, or let's just say that things are going to move in her favor. But let's say that her interview is during this slot, or maybe during this slot, then things are probably not in her favor and she's not going to do so well. So now let's say what happens is for whatever reason Anna doesn't know that this part of the day is favorable for her. Then she goes in and she interviews, let's say here in the morning, okay, over this chunk of slot. And during this time, what has happened is someone has just left the interview here, and that person was, let's say, not so fit for the job in the sense of the match in whatever they were looking for versus his expertise and knowledge. So the interviewer is not in a good mood, and what happens is when he comes to Anna, he's kind of carrying that energy over, and because of that, the way the conversation happens and things happen, things don't really go well for Anna. So now I took the example here for timing as in the whole day going from 1 to 2, which is the duration of a day. And I just showed different time intervals during which things can move in the favor and things can not move in the favor. But in reality, you can extend this to days, which would mean that if the interview happens during this day, then maybe things are not favorable for her. Whereas if it happens here, then things are going to be favorable for her. And you could extend it for weeks, which means that if things happen during the orange week, they're not favorable, versus if things happen during this pink week, then they're going to be favorable for her. So how exactly do you find these periods of time when things are going to be favorable for you versus they are not going to be favorable for you? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I have a free workshop where I show you how these periods or time slots or how this timing can be computed. And once you know this timing, you can leverage the power of this timing to kind of be in your favor, which means that you put in all the activities that are going to bring you good results, or where you need more favor from someone, let's say from a higher power above you. You kind of schedule your activities during that time. And there could be some activities which are kind of day-to-day things, and you could kind of technically put them in any slot. So you just fill the remaining slots with all the activities that are not so important, which are routine, for which you can just do it with your eyes closed, sort of a thing. So now we come to the third part, which is changing the strategy can lead to new breakthroughs. So how exactly is this going to work? So let's say that this is the period of a month, and this is your calendar for a month, and for the sake of convenience, I'm just going to divide this calendar into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts. So let's say that this calendar is divided into 9 parts, and then I'm going to mark the lucky windows as favored by the stars. So I will say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So window number 6, window number 2, and window number 9. These are the most favorable windows. So once you know that these are the most favorable windows, then you can superimpose your luck requiring activities, for lack of a better way of saying it, in these windows. So for instance, let's say if Anna is looking for work, then she can schedule her interviews during this time period. If let's say she doesn't have any interviews, then she can kind of apply to bulk of the postings during this period, number 2, number 6, and number 9, because this is when things are kind of going to move in her favor, and she is going to find that the activity that she is doing is kind of done with more ease, more flow, and things kind of just propel forward when she does it. So you are sort of, let's say that, let's say this is a pink color. So let's say that this is your month, which I'm going to draw again, which is the same 9 windows. You're superimposing, this is your month versus the month from the stars. You're superimposing these two on top of each other, which means that whatever are your difficult activities, so let's say you have activity A, which is most difficult, and you have activity B, which is more difficult, and you have activity C, which is difficult. So you're superimposing your difficult activities or activities which require luck to kind of be in the windows favored by the stars. And when you do that, you will find that things are going to start moving forward a lot faster and a lot easier for you. And how exactly do you compute these timings? Like I mentioned, I have a free workshop. The link is below. You can go and sign up for this workshop. And when you sign up for this workshop, you will see all the frameworks that I have used in order to be able to compute these windows. And then the easiest and the best way is for you to be able to use these windows for yourself. And once you use these windows for yourself, you will kind of get the idea of what exactly I am talking about or speaking about. Because it is one thing to see something demonstrated on paper, but to experience it yourself and to be able to kind of see the shifts and changes, that is a completely different thing. So I encourage you to try this out and see how things change for you and how things shift for you. And you're going to be surprised by the results. And I would love to know, feel free to send me an email and let me know how things go for you by leveraging the power of these windows. Have you ever had a time or a period where you have felt that no matter how much work you put in, things are just not moving forward? Go ahead and put that in the comments below. So now that you know why every day feels the same, what if you are still taking action and not moving forward in life? What exactly do you need to do, or what do you need to change? I will show you 3 things you need to change if things are not moving forward in life, and this is the subject of my next video, and I'll see you in my next video.